All right, hello, and happy Monday. My name is Kendra, and this is our Monday night balanced strength class. We'll give it just a couple of minutes here and hopefully get a few people tuning in and checking out this new live stream. I've just been playing around with taking these Monday night classes to YouTube. In the past, I've done these on Zoom for a small, semi-private group of friends and family, and just looking to expand that out a little further and give YouTube live stream a try. I've uploaded a lot of the past videos to the channel, so there's a lot of content there already that you could go back to and check out, try it out to find your flavor. 2 times a week I'm teaching these online classes. Monday night is this balanced strength, and Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time is energy medicine yoga. And I can talk more about that later. But for now, we're going to meet on the mat and drop into our Monday night yoga. Winding down from your Monday and setting yourself up for a really great week ahead, balancing the mind, body, spirit, and bringing you into an alignment that will help carry you through whatever comes your way. So let's get started. So I'm testing out using this music, and I'm not sure if it's picking up entirely how I would like, but we're gonna let it run this time so I can play it back and see how it sounds. I've come down to my seat because so often this is where we start, but today we're actually going to start a little bit differently. So if you are already sitting down, go ahead and pop yourself back up. And if you're standing, great, you're ready to begin. And I'd just like to start by saying, for any of these classes is truly an open invitation for you to join where you're at. And what I mean by that is that you don't even need a yoga mat, you don't need blocks or bolsters or any of that stuff. You don't need yoga clothes or yoga knowledge. It's really just an invitation from the comfort of your own home to just get a taste of what yoga is for you, without all of the preconceived notions about what it looks like or how it's supposed to be, but just giving you a chance to try something. Right? You're at home. You don't need to compare to somebody next to you. You don't need to do anything. In fact, you might even just watch for a while, right? You might just watch and listen and see what this is about. At least here, every yogi has its own wisdom and knowledge and experience to share. So see what it's about. See if there's something here for you. And just let that be your starting point. And that is enough. So welcome wherever you're at. Let us meet together here for this practice in what's called Tadasana, or mountain pose. I invite you to find your footing. If you're on your yoga mat here, just picking up your toes and spreading them out wide on the mat, feeling that little grip under the feet or whatever texture is underneath of you. And we'll take a few deep breaths here together, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, let this meet you where it's at. My breath might not sound like your breath, and that's great. That is what I hope happens, because none of us had the same experience today. So let out the kind of breath that's going to help you release some of that excess emotion or stress or whatever's hanging on your shoulders here. Let's take one more deep breath. Inhale and let it go. If they're not already, I invite you to close the eyes and bring your hands one over top of the other on the center of the chest, or what you might consider to be your heart center. And let your breath begin to settle. Excuse me. Had some springtime allergens moving through. So just feeling into this heart center, becoming aware of your breath flowing in and out through the nose, otherwise known as your yogic breath. And we're going to go through a visualization to help the body come into alignment in this position. Physical alignment. And through that physical alignment, the mind and the spirit, the energy follows. And yoga is a tool for us. It's a practice that works with all of these components of ourselves. At times we approach the self through the physical. At times we approach the self through the mind, sometimes through the breath, sometimes through the energy. But the idea is that through this interconnectedness, working with one affects the whole. So let's begin here in the physical body, the most tangible and obvious, and bringing your attention to the way that your feet stand on the earth. Feeling the toes. You might wiggle or move as we go through this visualization to help bring feeling into the body. Feeling your toes on the earth, feeling the balls of the feet and the heels, and balancing the weight in all four corners of the feet, forward and backwards, left and right sides. And all the while allowing your breath to come in and out through the nose with a gentle awareness of the body breathing. Gentle awareness of the body breathing. Now, I want you to imagine roots growing out from the feet like a tree. These roots going down wide and far into the rich soil of the earth and connecting through this network of roots and mycelium and energy to all other beings, to all other living pieces of the earth. And just feel into this connectedness of your feet into the earth. As you inhale, imagine drawing up nourishment through these roots. Allow it to start coming up through the legs. As you exhale, release what no longer serves you. Release the stress, the pain, the concerns. Breathing in nourishment and richness from being connected. Breathing out tension. This requires observation and it requires focus. Two powerful skills that yoga teaches us. Let's continue breathing in and drawing out the nutrients through the legs, a little higher into the pelvis. And every exhale, releasing back down the legs into the earth, recycled into something new. Breathing in and up, let it go up a little higher towards the belly, towards the torso. Release the tension as you exhale down into the earth. Breathing in and up, let it draw a little higher, moving towards your heart. And as you exhale, let it run back down. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. Breathing in, let it rise into the hands, past the hands into the throat. Breathing out, let it go. Breathing in all the way up through the throat, the neck, into the base of the head. Breathing out, let the arms fall down by your sides, releasing not only through the feet, but also draining through the arms and fingertips. A sensation in the fingers that you can almost imagine them being plugged into the earth as well. As you inhale, draw up from the roots and also through the fingertips, and illuminate the brain with this nourishment. Let it travel all the way up as high as you can imagine through the crown, all areas between the ears and behind the eyes. And with every exhale, soften and let it pour back out. Breathing in one more time, illuminate the whole body with this nourishment. And release. If the eyes are closed, I invite you to open them and begin to circle the wrists. The feet might be feeling a little sensation here. We've been plugged into the earth for a while. You might notice some things. You might even have the urge to move them. Try not to yet. Try to keep them plugged in for just a little moment longer. But with our arms, we'll begin to move like the branches of a tree. Let's start to rotate the wrists and the fingers both directions and lift the arms all the way overhead. Reach up as high as you can to the sky while staying grounded into your heels and toes. Feel the inner arches of the feet. Find a gentle lift that draws up through the inseam of the legs, up the front and back of the body, the front and back of the arms. Open your hands at the top. Take a big stretch. And then one arm at a time, we'll reach a little higher. Switch, reach a little higher. It's a little side bend here. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Both arms come back up. Exhale, soften the knees, bend from your hips and fold all the way down. Belly gets close to the thighs, hands come to the earth. See if you can straighten the legs just a little bit. Kind of bending and straightening through the knees a few times. Now find a steady place for the legs to rest. It's fine for the knees to be bent. In fact, they most likely will be. And let your chin come towards the chest. And then just let the head relax, right? Chin to chest and then let it drop. Chin to chest, let it drop. Chin to chest, let it drop. Now we'll just shake the head, yes and no. Yes to what you want this week, speaking up for what you need, yes. And no. No is powerful. No, no, no. No to what is not for you. Good. Release that and then bend your knees and come into a little squat here. Let the blood rebalance, drawing back down. And we're going to heel toe or step the feet a little wider here. Now, if you have a block or maybe like a small seat, a small stool that you could use here, I encourage you to bring it underneath of your seat for Malasana. And if you don't, that's okay. Maybe the heels aren't grounded. That's all right for today. The ankles and knees and hips will start to open as we practice this more. But the block gives a little more support, allows you to ground the feet a little more easily. And then we'll bring the palms together, elbows pressing into the knees, and find a nice tall spine. Now let's take 5 deep breaths in through the nose and fill up the belly. Out through the nose, relax the belly. In and out. In and out. In, fill up the low belly, the low back, and out, let it release. Soften the back of the neck. We have one more breath. Good, bring the hands down to the mat. Lift up the hips, the heels pivot out slightly, finding another forward fold. You can shake the head yes and no again if that feels good. Option to hold on to opposite elbows and let the whole body ragdoll or find a little sway. Now bend into your right knee, straighten the left, and then switch. Bend the left knee, straighten the right. Bend the right, bend the left, bend the right, hold it here. Bring the right hand to the center of the mat or right between your feet. You might use your block here. And we're going to twist, left arm coming out and up. Left shoulder opens. Press into the outside edge of your left foot. Open palm at the top, allowing energy to move through the body. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, release. Left hand comes down, hips square, both legs straight, and fold. Let the head bow. Let the neck relax. You're letting gravity give you a nice pull here, maybe even a realignment. You might feel some popping and opening through the spine, but you truly, truly have to allow that to happen. All right, let's switch. Bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. The left hand stays down in the center. And then as you inhale, start to sweep the right arm out and up. Like the second hand on a clock, making its way around, pointing straight up towards 12 at the top. If you can, you might be more towards 10, 11. You can see how far you go. Big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, release, come back down, take your fold in the middle, let the head go, big breath. Bend the knees, bring the hands up to the knees, right above the knees, for a standing cow cat. As you breathe in, lower the belly, draw the chest through between the shoulders. As you exhale, round the back, chin comes to the chest, tailbone tucks under. Inhale, cow shape, chest forward. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, inhale. This time as you exhale through cat, we're going to roll all the way up. Coming up at the top, you can take a little loop with your shoulders. Step the feet right underneath of the hips. Now, if you're not already at the front edge of your mat, go ahead and take a step towards what you consider to be the front. We're going to go through a vinyasa flow here to generate some heat through the body, and it's really helpful for connecting to your center. All of the movement that we'll do in these next few vinyasas originates from the core. In fact, most of our, maybe all of our movement originates from the core. So bring some attention right here to your solar plexus and into this area between the navel, right below the navel and right above the navel. You can bring your fists here. You're not pressing in, you're just finding that strength. I want you to visualize a bright orange sunny color here at the solar plexus. A solar colored ball of energy that we're going to send through the body through this movement, that we're going to send that power and that warmth through the body as we breathe and move. Now, even as we move the hands away from this area, I want you to keep some focus right at the navel center. Release the hands down by your side. We're back in Tadasana. Let's begin to move, sun salute. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold down. Keep connection to that belly area. Halfway lift, flat back, straight legs, shoulders and elbows draw back. Exhale, hands to the mat, step your right foot back and lower the knee. Ground into the feet, feel that navel center engage as you inhale and lift up the arms, low crescent lunge. Exhale, release, hands come down, tuck the back toe. Step back to plank pose. Take a little shift forward and backwards. Connect to the solar plexus energy, that ball, that sunny ball of energy starting to ripple out through the arms and the legs. Pause that movement and hold nice and strong here. Press away from the ground. Engage the quads. A little dome in the upper back and belly. Now lower the knees and lift up the feet. Cross the left on top of the right. So you're in a modified plank. And we're going to take 3 push-ups here. Lowering halfway down, press back up. Exhale, halfway down, press back up. One more time, exhale halfway, press. And on this one, we'll lower all the way down. Uncross the feet and bring the toes to the mat, baby cobra. Hands stay right where they're at. Hug those elbows in, press the pubic bone down. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders. Strong back body. Breathe. Release, forehead comes down. Press into your hands. Do that push up coming through a modified plank, and then tuck the toes, lift the knees, plank. Now, navel center lifts up, downward facing dog. Reach your heels down and back and start to pedal through the feet. Sometimes called walking your dog. Stretching out through the whole body from shoulders to fingertips, from hips to heels. Take a walk to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, soft bend in the knees, drawing up through the navel center, lift up to the sky. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Begin again. Let's keep it flowing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Hands to the mat. Step your left foot back and lower the knee. Low crescent lunge. Press into the feet. Rise up through that solar energy. Exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toe and step back to plank. Hold nice and strong. This time, instead of shifting forward and backwards, let's shift the hips right and left. Little hip dips, hippy dippies. Nice and slow. Connect to your center, find your strength. Come through center, lower the knees. You're in half plank or modified plank. Lift up the knees, right crosses on left. 3 push-ups, you've got it. If this is all you do today, awesome, you've done enough. Halfway down, press up. Just make sure to keep integrity. If you get tired, just go to your edge, take a break when you need it, pop back in when you're ready. And on this last one, we lower all the way down. Feet come to the earth, baby cobra. Engage the legs, lift the head and shoulders, elbows hug, and hold it here. Let's take 3 breaths. For added sensation, you might hover the hands. Hands plant. Press up through that modified plank. Tuck the toes, plank. Lift up through your center, downward dog. Take a little more movement. Paddling through the heels. You might shake your head yes and no. Feel those arms stretch, the inner eyes of the elbows turning forwards. Breathe, let the head release and be able to move. Take a walk to the front of the mat. Forward fold, let it go. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come on up. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Begin again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive. We'll go a little quicker this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat. Step the right foot back, lower the knee. One breath. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, step back to plank. Breathe in. Exhale, lower all the way to your mat, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. With up dog, the thighs are lifting, heart is open, downward facing dog. Now, we did a different variation last time, and that is still perfectly fine option. You don't have to make these transitions the same as me, just an option for today. Do what you can. Okay, let's add on here. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, try to open that right hip. And if you've got that hip open, try to make little circles. Switch direction, mobilize that hip. Now straighten the leg, press into both hands. Step through between the hands. Good, lower the back knee. Low crescent lunge. Exhale. Step forward to the front of your mat and fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step the left leg back, lower the knee. Low crescent lunge. Exhale, plank pose. Breathe in. Lower all the way or halfway down. And inhale to cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. Lift the left leg to the sky. Bend the knee and try to stack the hips. Try to keep equal pressure in the arms. You might be able to look under the left arm. If you can, try to circle through that left hip. Switch directions. Straighten the leg, breathe in. Knee to nose, curl the upper back so you can step through, lower the back knee, low crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down, step to the front of your mat and fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, Tadasana. Pause here. Notice how you feel. Okay, let's continue. We'll go into a little different flow here. And after this flow, we're going to bring it down to the mat. We're going to balance out our strength with some stretching and longer holds. So just a little more strength here to help flush out what we don't need, right? We got to move the energy. So we're going to start this vinyasa in chair pose. Sit the hips back, the knees are a little behind the toes, arms extending. Imagine you're holding that ball of energy now between the hands. And imagine actually a connection between this core ball of energy and this energy overhead. They're like two of the same, right? They're in alignment. Now we'll bring the hands down to the heart and step the right foot back into warrior one. Pivot the back heel down and then lift the arms back up to the sky. Try to keep the palms connected if you can. Now hook your thumbs and just remember which one is on top. It's probably your dominant hand on top. Very slowly, I'm going to invite you into the depths of this pose, but as always, make sure to take it step by step and to find your proper edge. This practice is one that is slow and lifelong. Not everything happens at once, and injury is possible if we ignore our own boundaries. It's a practice that helps you come into better relationship with yourself. So slowly, slowly. The invitation here is to bend a little more deeply to the front knee. Lift up through the heart. Lift up through the fingers. Lift the gaze up past the thumbs. From here, you might be able to move into these depths a little more. Reaching back through the back heel, lifting up and out of the low back. We have a back bend going on here. Gazing right past the thumbs, find your breath, keep the palms sealed. Okay, friends, we're gonna open up into warrior two. So you're gonna straighten that front leg, open the arms, heel toe your right foot back a step or two, and make your arms out into a T shape. Gaze over your front fingers. Front knee is over top of the front ankle. Pay attention here. Maybe you bend a little deeper. Press that knee open. Back hand comes to the thigh. Peaceful warrior. Breathe in. Extended side angle. Left elbow comes to the thigh. Right arm comes overhead, framing the ear with the bicep. Imagine you have a wall behind you, or if you have a wall that's big enough, go ahead and align yourself against it. It can be really helpful, and it'll give you some feedback for the alignment in your body. Open that top arm to the sky, flip the palm up, and we're going to circle that top hand like you're spinning a pizza pie. I didn't know that pizza was called pie until I moved to the East Coast. It was world life-changing. Switch directions of those turns. And then the next time that the fingers draw back, you're going to pull them back even further. Let that shoulder open. Stay engaged in that core. Now we're going to weave the arm like you're saying a big hello or goodbye to something. You're going to weave that hand all the way down to the ground. Lower the back knee. Heel toe your left foot to the outside edge of the mat for a lizard lunge. Gently press left knee into left arm to engage through the left hip. Now we're going to have a little funky transition here. We're going to walk around to the long edge of the mat and bring both knees down. Big toes come together behind you, and we'll find child's pose off the long edge of the mat. Lift your head, press into the palms, and start to walk the hands back onto your mat. We're going to turn to the back edge of the mat now. So you can lift your hips up, walk around to the back. You're going to tuck your back toes. You're kind of reaching out through that back heel, kind of a version of a lunge here. And then we're going to step the left foot forward. So you might come onto your fingertips here. Draw the knee towards the nose and step that left foot forward. Now tuck your right toes and sit back on that right heel. You might have to adjust your feet slightly so that you feel balanced, and you can bring your head over top of your hips. Now bring all 5 fingertips to meet right in front of the heart. And we're going to use the strength of the legs to rise straight up. Let's go. When you get up to the top, lift your right knee into the chest. And then step it back right where it was and lower back down. Nice and slow. Feel those muscles of the legs engage. Right knee comes up. Step it back and lower. Lift up. One more time, knee to nose. And then this time we'll step the feet together. Cross the left foot behind the right and come into a forward fold. Let the head go. Uncross the ankles and come right into your chair pose. We're going to do that same flow now on the other side. Find your breath, connect to that solar core energy. Bring the hands together right at the heart, shoulder blades drawing together. And then step your left foot back for warrior one. Find the grounding through the heel. Start to lift up the head. The arms lift up, keeping the palms together if you can. Remember, step by step. Here we go. Feel the outside edge of your left foot grounded. Cross the opposite thumb on top, keeping the edge of the hand sealed together. Bend into the front knee. Lift up and out of the lower back, starting to find the back bend shape go through your spine. Lifting up into the heart. If you can, gaze up right past the thumbs. Now, to your extent, deepen the pose. Pressing the palms, deep bend in the legs, a lift up through the fingers, relax through the neck. Where is your breath? Our transition is warrior two, straighten the leg. Open the hips, open the arms, heel toe, that left foot back. Front knee bends right over top of the ankle. Gaze or drishti, the gaze point, right over the front fingers. Hold steady. Draw your attention inwards and feel the alignment of the body. Feel the head, heart, and hips stacked. Left and right wrist connected. Shoulders open, space across the front, space across the back. Peaceful warrior, keep the bend in the knee. Inhale. Extended side angle lightly on the thigh. Imagine that wall behind you again. Bringing the back of the head to meet that imaginary wall. A lot of times I'll see people dipping their chin down, kind of head drawing forward like we typically do in front of computer and phone and work. But here we're opening everything up, right? This is the balance to our day, balance in our life. Okay. We're going to bring that top hand up towards the sky. You're only here a little longer. You can do it in the legs. If you need a break, take it and then get back in when you're ready. We're going to circle that left palm up towards the sky like you're spinning a plate or a pizza. Opening up and then the switch directions. And then letting those left fingers draw back and open. Now, like you're saying a big hello or a big goodbye, it depends what it is that you need. A big hello to something you're welcoming, a big goodbye to what you're saying goodbye to, and we'll come on down to the mat, lower the back knee, heel toe, right foot out, lizard lunge. A little more active lizard lunge today, pressing the knee into the arm. Just breathe here for a moment. Let those hips receive this nice big opening. As promised, after the end of this little flow, we're going to come down to the mat and balance out with some stretches. All right, so we're going to turn towards the long edge of the mat. So the back foot starts to pivot off to the side, walk around to the edge of the mat. Bring both knees down and big toes together, sit back to your heels, and then melt down into child's pose towards the long edge of your mat. Take a moment, let everything soften, and check in with yourself. Gently press into the palms, lift the head, and walk the hands back. And then we'll turn towards what was the original front side of the mat. So you're in a sort of version of a lunge pose. And you can tuck your back toe, lift the knee. You're going to draw the knee to the nose and step through between the hands. Now tuck those left toes and sit back on the heel. All 5 fingers come to meet at the heart. Only 3 times of this, you can do it. Start to press into your legs and lift straight up. Lift the left knee in towards the chest at the top, and then step it back to that position and squat straight down. Lift, slow, slow, slow. Try not to use momentum. It's easy to use momentum. It's a little more challenging to really let those muscles activate, feel the challenge. Only one more time here, lifting up, slow, especially that first part. First part's the hardest. Then lift the knee up, bring the feet down, let the hands go. You've done it, you've got it. Take a deep breath. Right foot steps behind the left, and then fold on down. Let the head go. Uncross the feet, sit all the way down to the mat. Try not to use your hands. This is kind of a fun thing to get used to being close to the ground, nice mobility exercise. And then we're going to turn towards the long edge of the mat again, bringing the left shin in front and the right shin back. A Z shape through the legs. Just take a minute. Let your hips settle down into the earth. Let the hands rest. From here on out, we're going to slow it down. Check on in with how you're feeling. Maybe you find some organic movement in the neck. Deep breath to release stress or tension. Now we're going to find sort of a rock star, wild thing kind of movement, if you're familiar with that posture in yoga. But we're going to do it from the seat. So you're going to bring the left hand behind you and plug that into the earth. The right hand is sort of like a paintbrush for this movement. It's just going to paint across, and then it's going to lift up your hips and lift that arm all the way up, and then paint back down and across. Just a little flow with that arm. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Now bring that left hand around with the right into a twist. Sit up nice and tall. See if you can gaze over the back shoulder. Breathe. And invite space into your spine. Okay, come back through center. We're going to come back to this shape in a little while for a different sort of stretch. So for now, just kind of opening up these points for better mobility. We'll get into a deeper stretch here in a minute. So let's just switch, bringing the right shin in front and the left shin back. And we'll do the same thing 3 times. Right hand is back. You can find your own flow. Make it as flowy or dancey as you'd like or not. As you inhale, left arm comes across and hips lift. And exhale, lower and release. 2 more times with your breath. Now, as you bring the hips down, left arm comes around, right arm comes around, breathing in, lift up through the spine. Exhale, rotate, and breathe. We're not forcing or cranking, but just finding that edge where you can stretch the breath, stretch the body. It increases your capacity to handle stress. It increases your capacity to find space between the moments, to find a stillness. Slowly, slowly. Let's release, come back around, and then we'll come into cobbler's pose. So now both feet coming together. Hands on ankles or feet. We start from a tall spine. Might feel good to even pause here and just feel the kind of grip of the hands holding you. And if you'd like, then you can take this into a fold, bowing down. If you have blocks or multiple pillows or blankets that you can stack, then you can make this extra restorative for yourself by either making a little block stack on the feet. It kind of depends how far you fold. So for some people, it'll be better to stack the blocks on the feet. For some people, it'll be better to put them in front of the feet. So it just depends where your head is falling. And you can use that to rest your head and to hold a slightly deeper stretch with less effort. And we're going to hold here for about 60 seconds, teaching us how to get comfortable with the discomfort. For some of you, it might be physical discomfort. Can you breathe into it? Can you breathe through it? For some of you, the discomfort might be just in slowing down. But the invitation is the same. Can you breathe into it? Can you breathe through it? I know you can. Just keep practicing. Don't beat yourself up if you don't do it today. This is a practice that I've had in my life for over 16 years, and I am learning every single day. Just like anything, not going to get it all at once, but you will get what you need in this moment. You will get what you're ready for. Take a couple more breaths, relax the jaw, soften the face. And then begin to press into the palms and slowly start to come up. Okay, as promised, we're going to go back to that Z shape in the legs, but we're going to do something a little different with it this time. So to transition, let's bring the hands to the outsides of the knees and just help those knees come together. And then step your feet wide, hands come behind you, and just windshield wiper through the legs a few times. Now, turn towards the back of your mat. Place the right shin in front and the left shin back. You're going to bring the hands behind you and start to lower down. Now, leaning back might be far enough, right? So just like earlier, we're gonna go step by step. You find your edge and just pause there. Where you find your edge, you're just gonna breathe into that point, and maybe slowly you're able to release into it. But I'll take us through this and see where you can go. So maybe you can come all the way down to the forearms. Maybe you can lower all the way down. Maybe you can turn the right knee up so the sole of the right foot is on the ground. And maybe you can draw the right knee in towards the chest. Whew, if you didn't find your edge yet, I'm maybe assuming a lot. I don't know, maybe you guys are super open here. But I know for me, as soon as this knee comes in, whew, that left thigh definitely finds its edge. So maybe that's too far. Maybe you back it up, find your edge. And let's take 5 solid breaths wherever you're at. Okay, now if you're still relatively seated, then you can just press yourself back up and start to switch legs. If you're lying down, kind of how I am here, then I invite you to untuck the left leg and just draw the knees towards the chest for a moment and rock and roll along the length of the spine. Just take a few rock and rolls here and come on up to your seat, and then we'll switch sides. So this time we have the left shin in front and the right shin back. You start by simply finding the sits bones into the earth. This alone, this seat alone might be enough. Maybe you can start to lean back. In fact, that might feel a little better at first because we decrease this angle in the right hip. You know, something else that can be really helpful is if you feel a lot of tension here in the hip flexors, you can give that a little tap. You'll use like a karate chop through the hand. Give that a little karate chop. Help interrupt that pattern of tension. And just like the other side, step by step, you might be able to lower down. At some point, you might feel like you need to tuck the tailbone down a little further, so that's fine. Make those intuitive adjustments. And it's important to recognize here that one side is likely different than the other. So just paying attention to that. You know, I've learned a lot from finding these imbalances on my yoga mat and translating that into the rest of my day, just becoming more aware of how those imbalances came to be. One of the things I ask people when they tell me that one hip is tighter than the other is, do you cross your legs? That's often a culprit because we tend to cross our legs the same way. Or if you sit on a foot when you're sitting, that could do it. Also, do you carry a purse? Hanging a lot of weight on one shoulder, or just even carrying something on one shoulder all the time, it creates this sort of imbalance in the body, which doesn't necessarily cause pain, or it's not necessarily bad. The body is incredibly adaptive. But when we come to a practice like yoga, we become more aware of those deviations between sides. So just like the other side, maybe that left knee comes up, maybe that knee comes into the chest. I've met my edge a little sooner on this side, so I'm going to stay here. And let's take 5 more breaths. Breathing into the belly. Let it go. You might close your eyes from here on out, soften the jaw, all the muscles of the face. Thank you, body. Thank you, mind. Thank you, yoga practice. Thank you, yogis. All right, friends, wherever you're at, we're going to come on down to the back. Make sure you don't have a hair tie or something getting in the way here. Feet go as wide as the mat. And just like we did earlier from the seat, you're going to windshield wiper your knees gently side to side. Roll over those outer hips. Now draw the knees in towards the chest. Circle the knees away from one another. Circle the knees towards one another. Draw both knees in towards the chest. Circle the knees together, going in one direction and rolling around the sacrum. Switch directions. Knees in towards the chest. Reach for the outside edges of the feet for happy baby. Or if you can't reach the outside edges of the feet, maybe you hold onto the big toes. Or an option could be to hold behind the thighs. For happy baby, we're bringing the knees towards the armpits on the outside of the torso. And trying to keep the lower back grounded. Try to find the natural curves through the neck. And you have a little room to play here. So like the name implies, embodying the spirit of a happy baby, discovering your toes. You can straighten and bend through the legs. Connect to your breath as you find this moment of play. And then bringing the feet back down. Bring the feet right underneath of the knees. Hands by your sides for one bridge pose before we come into our final pose of Shavasana. Press into the feet, roll the hips and lift up the spine. Option to interlace hands behind the back or hold onto the outside edges of your mat. Keep the feet grounded, the knees tracking over top of the ankles. And release. Send the legs down the mat. Take up your space. Take a deep breath. Feel the shoulder blades hugging onto the earth underneath of you. Breath coming in through the nose and filling up the belly. And every exhale, helping the body drop into the mat, into the earth. Take a quiet moment for yourself here. This is the moment of integration and consolidation. Simply allowing the energy of the body to move through to do the intelligent, wise work that it knows and wants to do to heal and to balance. In this moment, you are healing and rebalancing. If you can so allow it. And so I leave you with the word allow. 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 If you have any sort of intuitive knowing to move your body in a certain way, to feed your body some sort of nourishment, food or otherwise, I encourage you to pay attention to that wisdom that appears here and to begin to discern between the habits and the wisdom. The programming that's been ingrained from some kind of stress in the past, the habitual patterns that cause tension, differentiating that from the intuitive wisdom that appears when you connect to mind and body and spirit. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you'd like. If and when you're ready to roll off of the mat here, maybe you've been doing some of this in bed, in which case maybe you just stay here tonight. You can bend your knees, roll over to your side through fetal position, and gently press into the earth to help rise the body up, coming back into a cross-legged seat. Let us close our practice here together, bringing the palms to touch, bringing them onto the body somewhere, third eye, heart. Taking a moment for your prayers and your gratitude. And closing with a humble bow that is in dedication of yourself, an acknowledgement of one another, and in gratitude of this practice. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It's always my pleasure and honor to guide this practice and to share this practice. So thank you for watching. Thank you for following along and tending to your own body, mind, and spirit. The effects of this practice truly ripple in every direction. And so this thanks comes not only from me, but for everybody that you encounter and that you're connected with in this world. I'll see you next time.